Welcome back to the channel, guys. First off, if you're watching this after the live, remember subscribe and ring the bell. Give this video a thumbs up. It helps me out an awful lot. Really do give the videos a thumbs up, guys. Actually, give a thumbs up to any content creator that you like because it helps us out in the algorithms. All my social medias are in the not the description, sorry, the comment section of this video. That's my Facebook, my TikTok, my Instagram, and my Twitter. If you want to go follow me on Instagram, right now in the live chat is the link for my Instagram, but you can follow me there after the fact, and all them links can be found in the comment section of this video. Today, we're going to be talking about Stephen Farthing versus Nick Williams, right? And there was an incident that happened a while back in regards to Steve and Nick were in I think it was a 28-hour period. These two guys had an altercation where Nick has accused Stephen Farthing of an abduction, a beating, and a robbery. And still, Stephen has proven that Nick's stuff is still in his home. And Stephen has said, "You can come get these things, Nick. I'm not stopping you." But Nick, because of what happened previous, doesn't want to go back up and get them. Okay, so tonight there's going to be resolution. This is going to be the end to all the chaos that's been going on. First off, I would like Stephen to come in. I've put the link into the live chat. I will do that again. I want to speak to him first. He has to have his say first. I want to hear everything, his opinions from the whole 28-hour period. Then once he's done, Nick will have his say while Stephen is muted. And I want to have his opinions on the whole 28-hour period of his experience of that 28-hour period. Sorry. So then after that, we will come to a conclusion of what really happened. And then that is the end. Stephen has just come in. So, Mass Detective, do you want to add anything to that?
No, not really. Let them just get on with it, innit? I think that's the best thing. We can have our say sort of after or something, you know?
Okay, so the man himself, Stephen Farthing, is in. I'm going to bring him onto the screen. Show respect to Stephen. Show respect to Nick. This is a situation that they're involved in. So all respect to Stephen for coming on and joining us tonight. And yep, I'm going to bring him in now. Stephen, how are you?
Yep. Hello.
Are you doing well?
I think so.
I apologize for not being able to do this sooner because I understand you've got difficulty getting light in the area that you're at.
That's correct.
So apologies, I couldn't do this any sooner, but hopefully tonight we can get some resolution. So just straight off the bat, Stephen, so I've told this to Nick. I don't want to hear about any other circumstances. The only circumstances we want to hear about and the public want to hear about is the 28-hour period that you were with Nick. And we want you to tell your side first.
Okay. Only the 24 hours.
I think it was 28 hours that you were with Nick. He has told his side. He has told his side already, but we want to hear your side from the start to the middle to the end. What happened from the moment he arrived at your house?
Okay, for starters, it's not my house. It's a house that I'm minding. I'm minding a family of dogs there. They belong to the house and people that own the house, for starters. From the moment Nick arrived, I got and we unpacked the van, and he paid the driver the second half of the agreed price for collecting Nick from Orkiva to bring him here. So Nick paid that. We unloaded the van. I went, I asked Nick, I said, "I've got no money. I need to go and see man down to the van, down to the village, make sure he gets off this track, off this mountain safely." I said, "So, yeah, I haven't got any money. I want to have a drink in the village or get some food because there's no food here." And he gave me 20 euros. I went down to the village with the man in the van, okay? I assured him he was going to get to the village safe, and I was going to see him safe.
Mhm.
I left Nick at home with the dogs, all the dogs. I don't think I even took my Captain Jack with me. I left my phone at home accidentally, and I walked down to the village. Or no, sorry, I got a lift with the man in the van to the village. I spent that €20 buying the man a drink and saying thank you for assisting. I'm sorry that you experienced what we experienced along the way. Happy days. Don't judge him and me as one. And happy days. I left. I think I had about maybe €5 left. So I climbed back up the mountain, recognizing then I don't have my phone. When I get when I get to the house, then I found my phone. I went and visited Nick. Okay, Nick insisted that I tried his RSO weed extract. Okay,
Was
he
he
used
in
his
your house at this
household.
time? Was he in your house at this time?
He was in my camper van. He was in my
Yes.
Mercedes. He was in my bus. Yeah.
Okay.
He sat in on my bed. It was dark because I've got no lighting there. It was dark. All of his things were in boxes, taking up all the furniture that I've got there, and I've got a driver's seat, and I've got four coach seats. All of his things was boxed up and blocking any sitting space or any comfort. And so I tried smoking the joint that he gave me, and it was a horrible taste to begin with, and I started complaining about it straight away. It was a horrible experience. I got a headache. I went down to the house. I collected something that I had there to smoke, and I came back up to Nick. We had a conversation for about 2 hours, okay? And then I was getting tired, and like I wanted to go to my bed. Nick was in my bed. He was on my blankets. I didn't feel that after the conversation it would be right to disturb anything more than it already was. So I went back down to the house, and I stayed there for the night without any blankets, without any bedding and stuff. The next morning, I wake up because I was waking up then about 4 or 5 in the morning. I'd go and exercise the dogs. I'd do the things that I can do in the freshness, and like 'cause it was at the end of the summer, so it was still hot and stuff. And I do the things that I can do in the freshness. Take the dogs for a walk, water them, feed them. I come back to the house and make a nice pot of coffee. I come up to the bus with my cup of coffee and a couple of smokes, like sit there and introduce Nick to the mountain. He wasn't interested. This was about 11 o'clock in the morning, yeah? Bearing in mind that the sun's now rising, it's heating everything up, yeah? And there's things to be, that I consider things that are more important, like going and getting shopping and things like this. The man was still in bed. The man was still in bed, sweating out my blankets. Okay, for starters. I enter the bus and I see this. I first off I called. I said, "Hello, Nick. Are you there? Are you there, Nick?" And I came into the bus with my cup of coffee and my smokes. And I sat there and I said, "Nick, do you want a cup of coffee?" I says, "There's coffee down in the house. Have you got a cup?" He didn't have a cup, so he didn't get a cup of coffee. So with then the debate, we started discussing where the travel had gone wrong, the things that had already gone wrong from that point. I asked him to translate a text message, and I asked him, "Did you translate that text message? Because that text message is I'm supposed to be booked in with the vet, with the rent money that that you said you were going to pay me, and the things that you said you were going to pay me for." I says, "I've already made appointments, and I'm supposed to be walking to the vets this time of day. You're already delaying me because you're already controlling and manipulating things." And like one thing led to another. And you know what? He actually fucking screamed at me like I seen on Lucifer's show the other day. "I don't give a fucking shit about no fucking text that you sent me." I mean, like, whoa, Jeepers Christ, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm trying to be reasonable. I've just given up everything for this man. I've told the people of the house if he's not allowed to come here, I'm. So, anyways, back to that day. We're having a discussion. It's getting heated. I'm asking him to open the back door. It's getting more heated. I says, "If you don't open the back door, I've asked him about 4 or 5 times. If you don't open that back door, I have to force that back door open, I says, "It's hot in here. It's sweaty in here. All I can do is smell you. There's no comfort here. You've taken over my space. You won't even let me get my fucking blankets. I've slept without blah, blah, blah," repeating. And he just really didn't give a fuck, yeah? So I said, hang on a minute. I went and collected my phone. I put my phone on the wood burner, and I said, look, you see you're on camera now. Look, you see I'm on camera now. Doesn't this look a bit like your YouTube and the fucking WhatsApp and the messenger calls that we've been having? Doesn't this look a bit like, you know, like that professional, you're in a TV screen and I'm in a TV screen, you know? But yet we're on the same screen. Next thing you know, he goes all professional and starts performing, you know, and, well, Stephen, for me, you know, like, he just started getting more and more creepy, you know, a little bit more creepy. With that, then, you know, like after time, I've said, that's it. You've not opened me fucking door. You're trying to fucking throw me blankets onto. You've not opened me door. You're trying to throw my blankets and pillow onto the floor. You know, I says you're absolutely disrespectful. Blah blah blah. I says I'm opening that fucking back door. I open the back door. He starts kicking me. So I give him a little bit of fucking slap. So then I'm trying to push him out or drag him out of my bus. And yeah, with that, then time goes on. I bring him over to the rooftop of the garage, and I says, "Look, this is the things that you're missing out on."
Stephen,
yeah.
Stephen, can I just jump in there? So just to clarify, he was you're saying he was physically violent to you first?
Yes, he was. Yes.
Okay.
And psychologically intimidating with his gestures and his movements and his extreme bravadoism in voice, you know, extreme insulting. He'd made insults about a couple of things, and you know, like he was being extremely rude and disrespectful. You know, like understanding. I've been in communication with that man for nearly 2 years, but nearly 1 year really intensely, especially since I've been living here. We're in communications all day, every fucking day, you know. All of a sudden, then we're there sat on the garage roof looking in the views. You know, I'm trying to point out things, and he's not even looking. He's not even interested. You know. So then I says to him, "Look, Nick, yeah, you told me that as soon as you come here, yeah, you're gonna give me 600 euros so I can be secure and comfortable and do what I need to do." I says, "You've not done that." I says, so "Let's go down to the bank. We failed going to the shops. We failed going to the banks when we were traveling here with that big van. We came here with nothing in that van, quite literally. And we came with no fucking tools for the project that I've got in mind." So anyways, with this then, we gather ourselves and we walk down to the village. Yes, it was a little bit of bantering and, you know, like, why are you walking so slow behind me? Like, fucking, can't you speed up a little bit? Like, I'm walking really slow and you're walking slower. I mean, like, you know, like, what the fuck's going on? We get down to the village. As we're getting down to the village, I'm describing everything and we're relaxing and we're starting to speak nicely to each other. And he's really, really started to loosen up and remind me of what I seen of him in the communications for the last fucking year and a half, 2 years. So with this, then, what goes on then? We gets to the village. I'm showing him the beach and the nice walkways and pointing things out, and everything's all nice. I point out the shops. I point out the Moroccan shop. I point out where the bank is, you know. And all of a sudden, he goes off to the bank, which is up the side street. I go off and I sit on the wall of the beach. I don't even see the cash point where he's gone to, but I know where it is. You know, I'm only like about 10, 15 meters away. On like you got a wall, a pavement, the road, which is a 2-lane, a parking space, and then the pavement. And he was in there on the corner at the cash point. So when he came over to me, he gave me a bundle of cash, you know, and I started counting it. And I said, I think I remember it saying, is like that's only half of it. And he's saying, "Oh yes," and he reaches straight away into his other into another pocket and pulls out his other monies. By the way, sorry, I forgot something when I was talking about the vets and the vet's appointment, and I mentioned having the money to go and do. He started throwing his bank card at me and telling me go to the cash point and get the fucking money out. And he was really fucking horrible and spiteful in the way he was doing it. And I did no. I hear about people getting into trouble for doing things like that. I'm not going to get into things like that. Yeah, I'm not. No. Screw you. You can walk down to the bank and get the money yourself and know what effort I put in. And so anyways, when we were at the cash point and he gives me the cash and I've counted it and there's only like half there or something. Anyway, something was missing. And he reaches and he gives me the other. And I sees it and I makes it all together. And I says, right, now I'm going to eat. I haven't eaten for 2 fucking days now. I've been waiting for you. Like yesterday, we were waiting for you. We went past all the restaurants and shops today. We've been up in the mountain chatting bullshit and we're not eat. I says, I need to go and eat. He says, I need to go and eat as well. I didn't eat yesterday either. So I said, and this is why you're going fucking crazy, because you're not eating. You're eating Valium tablets. You're smoking this stupid freaking oil made out of leaf and alcohol. I said, it's not even made with flour. You're smoking toxic shit, man, you know? And anyways, I says, I'm going to eat. I says, this nice restaurant, I've had a burger and stuff in there before. It's less than a tenner. And he starts chirping up and he, yeah, I'm coming with you, you know, like, if that's okay. I says, I don't give a shit, you know, I need to eat. I'm going to eat. While I'm eating, he says, sorry, when I ordered, he wants the same as me. He said, order for me exactly what you're having. So I ordered a Tinto Verano and a burger with chips, you know, like the complete burger and chips. So I get that. He gets his. As soon as he takes a swig of his drink, he's spitting it out, yeah, because it's got alcohol content. I said, but, you know, like, you're living in Spain, yeah, Tinto Verano. You know, like, you don't know what Tinto Verano is. I mean, like, in all fairness now, stupid fucker. So he says, I don't want to drink this. He says, you're trying to spike me or something stupid. He gives me this fucking, I says, I'll drink it. Don't let it go to waste. And happy days. I'm eating my food. He scoffs his food back and he turned on me straight away. As soon as his plate was cleaned, I was still eating. I've got no teeth in my mouth. I can't eat as fast as these people. So anyways, I'm there fucking eating away. And I says, he starts screaming some abuse at me. And I'm looking at him like, fucking what a disrespectful fucker, you know? Like, I'm in a restaurant. He's joining me. And now he's going psycho on me. We're like, what the fuck going wrong here? And he says, I'm going up to the mountain, collecting my things, and I'm moving on. I says, do what you fucking want. I'm eating. I don't give a shit. So he left. I paid for my food. I think I paid for his food as well. He left. He came up the mountain, or so he said. A few hours later, I was still down in the village because I didn't want to come up to the house. I was a little bit intimidated, and I didn't really want another confrontation with him after he's gone freaking psycho for me. And, you know, like, no, I'm not interested. So anyways, that evening then, after he's walked up here, he's walked back down. As he's walking back down, I see him with a Moroccan boy. As he gets to the village beach, I sees him with a Moroccan boy. And this Moroccan boy walks him straight to this cabin. Is used for the alcoholics and the tramps for dossing for the night. And this Moroccan boy puts him in there. And so anyways, after this Moroccan boy, I don't like him. Yeah, he's a tramp, he's a beggar, he's a thief, he's an alcoholic, and he's a fucking loud nuisance, he's a pain in the arse. So anyways, when I seen him disappear, I kindly went over to Nick and said, Nick, where you are, I know where you are, and you might get robbed sitting here, sleeping here tonight. I says, that man is a bad man, and if that man's put you here, chances are you're going to get robbed. So just have your wits about you, be cool. I says, we'll meet up in the morning. And he said, oh, yes, thank you, Stephen. I've collected the things that I wanted. I've got the things that I want. And I'm moving on. I thank you very much. You're very wise and you're a very gentle person. Even with your psycho talk, you're very gentle with me. And I thank you very much, Stephen. He says, hopefully we'll see each other tomorrow morning. He says, I can't say because I don't know if I'll sleep or if I stay awake. So with that, then, I came up home. And I rushed back down in the morning. At that point, when I get to the shelter where he was staying, I phoned him because he wasn't there. And he said his next door neighbor, his landlord, came over to this village with his van and collected Nick. And they've eaten, they've gone to a restaurant or they've got food and they've eaten. So then we wished each other good luck and happy days. Thank you. You know, like, sorry. You know, like all the gentleman sort of things that could be exchanged, that was all exchanged. As I get up to the house and I'm sorting out the things, because I know it says food and it's all in me fucking bus, and you know, like it's an invitation for the rats to rob me, it's an invitation to the mice, you know, no. I start clearing out, and you know, like, first off, I just move it all to the house. Then after about a day or two, I start identifying what's there, and I start asking Nick, like, what's here, like, like, what's this, what's that, what's the password for your computer? Because he's given everything to me. Okay, so as I'm asking things, he's starting to go psycho on me in the messages. He started saying, like, you're calling my shit toys, yeah, and I saying, okay, well, your shit is toys, in my opinion. There's no value to me. I don't want it. I don't have any use for it. Like, what's what? Like, what do I do with it? It's all yours, Stephen. Respect it. Do what you want with it. So I started to. And then I started recognizing that people were picking out that I was wearing his t-shirt and bullying me because I was recycling quality secondhand clothes that were left behind for me to make use of. Everything that he left behind was for me to make use of in his messages. And then weeks later, I get a message that he's going to the Guardia or something. Now, I automatically thought that he was going to the Guardia about the neighbor that he had a fight with, the female neighbor that lives next to him, a Belgian woman called Lola or Lula or something like that. And he had a fight with her the day that he left here and he returned back to his apartment in Orkiva above Beneficia.
That was a female he had a fight with?
Yes. Yes, I've got text messages to prove it, and the woman, she's made statements against him, and he's made statements against her for continuous fucking nuisance behavior between them. Is an ugly.
Can I ask you a question, Steve? Can I just sorry to butt in? I'm sorry to butt in on you there. I know you're coming to the end of that story, but see the extent of the violence between you and Nick. And be honest, it doesn't matter. Listen, it's fine. Friends fall out all the time, but what was the extent of the violence that Nick put upon you, and the extent of the violence that you put upon Nick?
He was kicking out at me. I'm not sure, like if he was kicking out, punching out, but he was definitely like fucking kicking out at me and pushing me away when I was trying to reach through the little portal onto my mattress and reach to the back door. Yeah, the lever is at the top of the door. On I think the right hand or the left hand side, and there's a little bit of a wooden shelf just above that, where I got two spotlights, and so for me it was kind of like I gave him a backlash from like if I'm facing forward and somebody's behind me, or I'm doing a back or I'm doing a fucking paddle if I'm sat in a boat, trying to move with my hands, it was that sort of movement.
Well, can I show you something that Nick sent me? And obviously, you always have the right, to reply to this here. But this is something that he wanted to show the viewers. He wanted me to show you this also. So if you wouldn't mind me showing something to the screen, I will share this to the screen. So I don't know if you can see that. So that's a picture that Nick sent me, to say that was. He had a detached retina from the punch. Is that correct, or is that false?
No, I definitely didn't punch him. Was that from the woman, his neighbor Lola?
No, Nick's saying that this picture here is directly from the violence that you put upon him.
But I find that very hard to imagine because I don't remember lashing out like that.
Okay, so that's okay. You've got that right to say that, Stephen. As long as you're not, listen, we're not here to be judge, jury, and say you done this. We're only here to hear your side, and you've articulated that. Is there anything else in that story you would like to talk about?
Many things, many.
Okay. Well, is that the whole 28-hour period that you had with Nick?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, apart from when we picked him up, the story continues before that,
Well, listen, we don't really want to hear about before and after. It's just a 28-hour period because people are very confused in this, because what happens is Nick goes into other stuff and to do with like Madeleine McCann, and there's all this here stuff. We don't want to hear about that. All we want to know is the altercation between you and Nick in the 28-hour period, to wrap this up, to see what's went on here. Now, would you be happy with me now to get Nick on to tell his side, or is there anything else you would like to say?
I'll let Nick have a say. I've had a good 10 minutes there, I think.
Okay. Do you think it's a fair 10 minutes? You're okay with everything you said?
For me, I think I've covered the main points of the and I've explained in fair detail
Okay.
what I remember.
Okay, and then just to let you know, Stephen, because I wasn't speaking to you beforehand, Nick's going to have his say, and then afterwards, whenever both of you are on the screen, you can ask each other questions, but I will mute the other person so the other person can answer, because I know there's an issue between you two, having a dialogue between each other. So I will do that for you at the end, and then at the end of that, hopefully there's some resolution. You can maybe have a virtual handshake, and then we could move on. Would that be? Does that sound like a
Fair
good
play
idea?
to you. Fair play to you.
Okay.
Thank you for
Okay.
being a fair man.
Okay. No problem, Stephen. Listen, I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to mute you now, Stephen, and I'm going to put Nick. I'm going to unmute Nick. Okay.
Thank you.
Good man. So, Nick, first off, let me speak. I know you've got a lot to say, but what I will say, Nick, is right. The way Stephen has articulated his side of things, I need you to sort of try to articulate it similar to that. We don't want to go off into any Madeline McCann's, Jill Dando's. It's the 28-hour period from start to the middle to the end. Your experience, your view, start.
Hi, Ronan. If we keep meeting like this, people will start talking. Nice to
Yes,
see
and by the
you.
way, no
Thanks for
name.
having me on.
I'll just say this: no name callings. Just about the story. Okay, just about the story.
Absolutely. I'm on
Yeah.
your channel and I respect you. If you wanted to maximize the efficiency of getting to the truth, if you ask Stephen to repeat exactly what he just said,
We don't. No.
he won't.
Listen.
He won't
Listen.
be.
It's fine.
What I'm
Nick.
saying is, he won't be able to.
Nick.
I have never heard so many lies strung together.
Nick. We don't want to know if you think Stephen is lying. We want to hear your side of things now. Start the 28-hour period off now, and then end it. Your experience. You tell us.
Well, unfortunately, my brain doesn't work being able to structure films from start, middle to the end. But let's bear with me, give me the opportunity, and
Yes.
let's see how well we can do.
What you can remember.
Thank you. It's the orders of things and forgetting stuff and trying to link. So if I forget, which I will, can you try to link me up? And yeah, thank you. All right.
I'll try my best.
Good question. And the van came very late. I had explained about my financial situations, and that was fine. No problem whatsoever. I explained I was very unfit, and that I would need time to get my mountain legs. That seemed to be no problem whatsoever in our communications, and that's what I was expecting. I was going to rent a van that we agreed 300. It was, and if you ask Stephen live to show you on video the van, you will see the state it is in. What I was doing was to support the project that Stephen had offered and wanted help with. And I was in the position to be able to do that. And I thought it was a worthy project. The idea that Stephen was complaining about me, the sweat, the heat, and all of this at that part of the summer, if you look at the weather forecast, the weather wasn't hot, the van wasn't hot. I was renting the van, he had left his bedding there, and all of a sudden he blames me for all of that.
So can I just butt in? Can I just butt in there, Nick? So, and what your interpretation of that is, that you're giving this man money per month to stay here in this van, €300 a month. You've just stated there. So you're in your sort of terms there, it says this van is furnished with the things that I need to stay here. So if I'm paying him $300 a month, okay, right? Okay,
no, just it had birds, it had mouse, it had rats. The bedding smelt worse than multiple animals and human excrement. I am stunned.
Well, regardless, Nick, you agreed.
The idea to sell that for €300, Ronan, I think is significant. Maybe not it.
but for you not to test the waters first and go up and to see what you're paying 300 a month
That
for.
was foolish, and I should have.
Yes.
We were going
Yes.
to, but it didn't work out like that. I feel that I
Yes.
was manipulated into a different arrangement where I had less control.
Right, go on. And so you felt that it wasn't substantial, the living arrangements, but you still stayed there. Did you voice your opinions to Stephen that this wasn't substantial?
No, not at all. Quite the opposite, in fact. I realised that I was making a complete life change. The reason I was doing that because Stephen had sold me a lie, which I approved of and wanted to support. What he wanted to do was to initially get money to chip his 6 dogs so he could take them all down into town legally, and he would be very proud of that and felt that that was a responsible thing to do. The next month we were going to buy goats, or he was, because it was his money. I was still going to help with my extra income on the side because I approved of the project, and I also needed a change of pace, a change of life, and to connect back to the mountains rather than be reclused here, avoiding people like William Farthing causing me physical bodily harm in my own house, which he didn't do, but other people have. So I needed to escape. He recognized that. He lied to me about what he could offer to me. And I was invited to a complete shit covered house, which he lived in, which is why he was renting me the van. Now, why he blames me for sleeping on his bedding when he's the landlord and he's organizing it and I'm paying the money, I don't understand why that's a problem, nor
What
why
were the
he should
terms, Nick?
enter the van.
What were the terms for you to go up there? Everything in that van was yours to stay on. It was a furnished van for you to stay in for €300 a month. Is that correct, or is that not correct?
I don't believe the word furnished was ever used, but it was furnished in every way that it would have been more than satisfactory had any of it not been a health hazard. It
Okay.
was disgusting. And if you don't believe me, ask Stephen to video it tomorrow morning, and you will see his house and his van, which he will never show you. The idea it was
He has
€300.
showed us though, Nick. He has showed us though. He showed us
No,
in a
he
couple of
didn't. Where
videos.
did Ronan? He flashed past the top of a box, and what we saw was an orange frying pan that comes from my house. I've got a matching one on my cooker right now that I didn't take with me.
Mm-hmm.
We saw nothing else. You've seen nothing of Stephen Farthing's living environment at all, I believe, because he would never show you because it's absolutely disgusting.
Right. Okay. So moving on from that now, it wasn't you didn't feel it was substantial, but you've just admitted there you didn't
No,
voice
that's not true at all. No. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Yes,
Yeah.
you're correct. But I did not complain about anything. I was lavish with praise. Look,
Right.
imagine, Ronan, if I was setting up a new life, I had now suddenly moved all my stuff onto a very remote mountain with a man who was bullying me. Imagine how
Well, hold on, Nick.
that
You
would
can't
turn
just say
out
that. You can't
if
just
I
listen. You can't, Nick. You can't just say that without explaining that you've jumped from moving from your house into his, and it not being substantial, it being a shithole, to him bullying you. Was there bullying in the hours previous?
It's constant harassment, bullying. It's rather difficult to describe because it was a psychological operation, but it's something that's very natural, I believe, for Stephen Farthing. He admitted yesterday on Lucifer 74 that he's a psychopath. And
explain the bullying. No, I don't care what Stephen says. I care what happened to you. I don't care what. So tell me from the moment that you
I can explain some of the psychopathic bits.
Nick, let me break this down for you. Explain to me from whenever you left your house to go up to his. Explain to me the bullying in them short space of hours. The bullying that he put you through, not throughout the whole process, just from whenever you left your house and you were with him, in the, as you say, the van for those hours. What type of bullying did he put you through?
He knew my financial situation, and I didn't have all the cash that we both wished I did, which meant that we had to go at some point down to the cash point machine and sort out cash. I can't remember exactly how much I had. I think it was 500 euros.
Hmm.
We had agreed 300 on the truck, and the van driver and he arrived very late. And we put the stuff in the van and off we went. It didn't take us very long to get there. The road is hell, the mountain road, and the van driver did an incredible job getting us there without killing us all. Um, we unpacked the van with a lot of stuff, everything I owned, everything, almost literally every last thing I possessed. And the van driver went away with Farthing, who disappeared for a couple of hours. I put my
Hmm.
stuff together in the van. He came back. He told you just now that he spent the 20 euros I gave him on alcohol for him and the van driver. He was therefore under the influence of alcohol. He came into the van. I don't remember the specific order, and I don't think it's particularly important. He had a smoke. He blames it on me and the RSO. That's fine. So he's telling us he's paranoid, perhaps. But then what he did was to start to order me around and tell me what I was going to do, exactly how, in his van. And he was very particular and extremely focused on what I would and would not do and what was acceptable. So
Right.
I
So
wasn't there
here's a
as a
question from
I
Nilo
wasn't
Mac.
there as a guest.
I got a question from Nilo Mac, and it's very, very relevant. Thanks, Nilo. Nilo's one of my mods, top guy. Did the bullying start before Nick moved into Steve's, or did it start his first hour of living there? That's there. That's a lot of bullying to take in the first 48 hours of me. So basically, what he's trying to say here is, did the bullying start previous to you moving up there, or was it just up there that the bullying started?
I don't
In your
suffer bullies, and
no,
I would never
Nick,
have gone there. I
Nick.
would
So
never
did
have
the
gone there if I had been bullied first. The bullying
right,
started immediately he had control of me, and I had no way of escaping him. He is
right,
very fit in the mountains, very experienced. He knows his way around. He's extremely aggressive. And I had told him that I would need time to get my mountain legs. Because I hadn't been out and about for years, literally, and my muscles were wasted away. So the heroic fucking chisel photograph that you used of me in the last podcast, well, I'm getting back to shape, but it's taking a while.
right. So the bullying started as whenever you got there, you felt like he was being controlled
Instantly, he got hold
instantly.
of me in the van. He started to control the issue, and it never stopped. He was never nice
Right.
to me, and I was never angry at him.
Right. So now the incident, the so what I'm getting is that there's two separate stories there. Basically, Stephen's telling his experience of him of a very nice experience of him helping you out. He's changing his life to help you out, and you're telling us that whenever you went up there, it was instantly that he started to become very controlling towards you and certain other aspects, and as you call it, bullying. Um, would it be right in saying whenever you went up to this van that you felt that so like you felt like this was the way it was going to be now, this is how I changed my life? How did you feel? Why would you not just walk away, get your stuff, and just go again? Why would you
I,
stick
I
around?
Well, because I don't have the strength or the ability or the number of arms to carry it, and it's
Yes.
such a bad track that unless I hired that same guy back again who I didn't know,
Yes.
or someone else I didn't know, there's no way that I. And Farthing had told me very clearly, not that point, but later, that if anybody was to come up the track, they would seriously regret it, and he would spoil their entire day. He didn't put it in those terms. He's
Put it
very
in his
protective.
terms, Nick. Put it in his terms, Nick.
I
Don't be
can't begin. I can't begin to remember specifically, and I don't want to misquote him, but he's a very violent man, and he likes to use that as threats. And he claimed that it would have involved immense violence had my friends come to rescue me or pick up my stuff or whatever. But I didn't ask him any of that, but that is the kind of scenario that I'm painting without remembering the actual specifics of what he said, when, and how it fitted in. But this was a continual 28-hour psyop that was interrupted only by a short sleep. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning because I was not sure at what time I was supposed to go down to the house, where Farthing has insisted I come down in the morning when I wake up. Now, all I wanted to do was to ask him what time would be good with you, because I wake up very early normally. I don't want to disturb you. And he was very non-specific. So I woke up at 4 o'clock. I looked, there was no light at Stephen's. So I went back to bed, had a smoke, went to sleep, woke up, and Stephen finally came back at 11 o'clock or something thereabouts, knocked on the door, if I remember correctly. I don't think he came in, but he started to move some solar panels around. I went outside to greet him. He was not super friendly, but he wasn't hostile, and I was friendly. I touched him on his arm like a friend, like that, and he used that, I believe, as an opportunity to freak out. And from that point onwards, he went into a ballistic, diabolic act, which was exceedingly convincing, which ended in my feeling that I needed to get the fuck off that mountain if I was going to remain alive. And I still consider myself fortunate to have been able to do that. I have never heard so little truth and so many lies with such a story. And I would invite Stephen to tell that story exactly again.
So
he will not be
so,
able to.
no, So yeah, I
And
will
I
be
will be
asking
able
that.
to tell you my
Right.
story
Yes.
every time.
We'll not be
And I'll tell
asking
you how he
Stephen.
beat me, and I'll tell you why he beat me. I'll tell you how he put me on video when he was beating me. I'll tell you he used the axe, he used a bow saw, he threw knives at me, not to hurt me, but to push them to me so I could use them to defend myself. And I honestly believe he wanted me to attack him with a weapon so he could be a victim somehow and blame that on me, which put me in a very difficult position because I couldn't defend myself. And neither do I. I let people beat me up because I'm dumb, and not doesn't matter. And when he beat me, because I was sitting cross-legged on the bunk, without with my t-shirt and my underpants cross-legged, because I'd just been in bed and woken up. I'd sat up. He had arrived. Now he had come into the van. I was cross-legged. He bought a camera. And he started, let me think of the order of this. He had a camera. He was very hostile. I can't at the moment remember the specifics of the hostility, but what he did was to order me around. And I was very unhappy that I was going to be staying in that environment under the circumstances he had promised, which now were obviously not going to be fulfilled. So that was troubling, and I stood my ground. So I was staying in the van that I was paying for, that we had agreed. He understood the terms and when I could pay for it, and I had the money to give him the £300 that we had agreed, or euros. He never asked for money up front, a month's advanced rent. So that's another lie. So he could have accepted the 300. He could have gone into town and done everything he claims that he needed to do, but that wasn't good enough. So he pushed me around, he bullied me, he ordered me around, he was verbally very, very hostile and extremely aggressive, and I was cross-legged. As he came over me to beat me with his knuckles on the side of my head, which is why I believe I have the detached retina, only it's on this side, I pushed him away with my legs. I didn't kick him in any way. I used a force, but it didn't push him over. It pushed him away from me, so he was not within face distance. He claims that I attacked him first, which is not true. I've spoken to a very criminal friend of mine who says that in prison, and I didn't know this until afterwards, prisoners often beat each other with this side, because if it's this, then it bruises easily and it can be seen by prison officers. So that is what he had done, this side and this side, and I still have lumps here which are sensitive to the touch, and the detached retina, which causes me visual problems very frequently. So the fact that he videoed it, it was about 40 minutes long. I don't believe that he actually put it on live, but he said he was. And this is a theme I would like everybody to know. When I went down eventually with Farthing and met that Moroccan man, who Farthing earlier on Lucifer 74 yesterday said, or actually it was a week ago, maybe on yours, Ronan, that he had seen me carrying my stuff and the Moroccan man carrying me. Now, Farthing says that didn't happen. He describes it in a different way. The Moroccan carried my own stuff. I was exhausted, and I explained to Farthing that I would need time to get my legs. And he had explained to me before I had arrived that that would be fine. There would be no pressure whatsoever. But he forced marched me in the middle of the night as I was absolutely exhausted to the ATM. Sorry, this is actually the end of the next day. So that was the beginning of the first day. Then all hell broke loose. He told me that he would remove my jaw and my nose if I was to do this or not do that. He would dress me up in a GIMP uniform and parade me around town. He put his face in mine, and I can only, I cannot describe the smell. All the designed hostility and fear he tried to create into me, the terror. I think that most people would have been fucking terrified, and because I take Valium, I believe, and also because I've suffered a lot of stress in my life, and because I have higher faith and beliefs, I somehow wasn't as scared as he wished I had been. But at the end of the first day, he force marched me down to the bank. He sat at the end of the corridor where the bank
hold on,
is.
Nick. Hold on.
Yeah,
You can't
yes.
skip by that because
No, I can't. You're right.
Stephen was very articulate whenever he explained this. What do you
I'm
mean
not.
forced march? My forced march could be
Oh,
different
forced
from yours.
fucking marched me down the mountain. He could
Right.
not have been more aggressive.
Explain that.
He ordered
Explain
me
that,
around
please.
like I was in the army, and he gave me time limits to go and get my things to do this. I could. It's difficult to explain, folks, because my memory doesn't work as well as I would like and would be easiest.
Just explain the experience, Nick. Explain the experience. You don't have to go into every detail. Just explain the experience.
Questions and direct me better.
Okay.
Okay. So we went up onto the terrace, like he explained in the morning. He says that I didn't have any cups, which isn't true. I don't have any cups in my house because he has them all.
No, but
so
Nick, just right.
Yeah.
Just so we don't you go off on a path here. Explain
Yeah,
to us what do you mean he forced marched you? Tell me, what does that mean? He said he grabbed you. He was physical with you. He was verbal with you. Explain the process of you. Nick, hold on, please. Explain the process of you from when you started walking to the end of your walk to the town. What was that
I think
like?
we need to start before the walk because
Okay.
that is important. So remember that he had beaten me. Then he had stabbed me and he had screamed and shouted and threatened me and my life for about 7 continuous hours, when I hoped that when I was allowed to leave, if I was allowed to leave, I could go to the van, have a smoke, and actually relax. That wasn't going to happen. He told me I had 5 minutes to go and organize myself because he and I were going to go down because I hadn't done this, and this that I had promised, which wasn't true. And we were now going to go down so I could give him the money. I had about 500 euros. But that wasn't good enough. He wanted 600. So I had no choice. I had already been beaten. He had tried to terrify me. He had explained how incredibly well trained he is in martial arts, and I believed him, and I still do. He told me that in one swipe he could remove my lower jaw and would, and my nose, if I did or didn't do certain things. I couldn't move. I couldn't talk. If I talked, he would sometimes listen, but more frequently melt down. And several times he came so close into my face, sort of diagonally, like, as monster as he could possibly be. And frankly, Hollywood would have been impressed.
Right.
I
So
was.
right now
I've
the
never
march,
seen anything so
right, the
diabolic in my
march,
life.
the march down the mountain. Explain that. The walk down the mountain, as you call a forced march. Explain that, please.
Oh, it's very simple. He marched ahead. He's taller. He's fitter. And I had. Did I have stuff with me? I don't even remember. I was fucking exhausted anyway. I'm 60 years old nearly, and he's not. Whatever the excuse is, I was shagged, and that wasn't good enough. We
It's
actually
maybe not a
walked
good
down.
term to use, Nick.
We,
It's not a good. That's not a good term to use. But what I'm going to say is right. Is
well,
so
we actually walked down quite civilly. We didn't talk
right.
to each other much. He walked
So you
way
weren't
ahead
you
of
weren't
me.
you weren't forced marched then, Nick. This is what we're trying to say
No,
here.
I was told we were going to do this. And
Right.
he made me come with him, but I was slower than he was. So he had to adjust to my pace because he couldn't do much about it.
Right.
And
Okay.
every neighbor we passed, he told me what a mafia boss they were, how connected to the police they were, how
Nick,
criminal they were, how I
Nick, it's
shouldn't knock
irrelevant.
on that door or this door. Well, it's
It's
not,
irrelevant.
because when I escaped, I could have gone and called the police from the neighbors. But because he
Right.
had
Okay.
set that up.
Right. So what I'm going to say to you is right is you get to the town, explain the experience in the town with Stephen.
Because Farthing had gone with all my money, I thought, to get drunk, and I was right.
What do
I
you mean?
didn't want to
Explain
go.
that you're not explaining the you taking out the money. Explain that because
Sorry,
Nick.
because I went down twice.
Yeah.
Stephen marched me down to town to double dip the ATM and give him €600. We then went and had a burger, and then he went to party. I told him I was leaving and I was going up the mountain to get my stuff, and goodbye.
But was there not a
And
scenario in the cafe? Was what explain the
look,
cafe?
look,
What
look, 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 Ronan, how many steaming rows have you heard in any restaurants or cafes ever?
I live in Northern Ireland, mate. That happens all the time.
And actually, I live in Spain too. It didn't happen. Look, I
Right.
would not expect to be treated nicely if I treated my host badly. Simply, I don't treat people like that
Right.
really on any basis at all, except if the internet gets in the way.
Can
And
I just I just say to you, Nick, there is one common denominator in this here. This RSO weed has done something, in my opinion, to the heads of you and Stephen here. It's fucked you up in
No,
some
it's
type of way.
completely ridiculous allegation. It's
Yeah.
completely insane. I understand what you're implying, because that's the
Yeah.
one thing that we have that you don't understand, and this is a psychotic situation, so that could be the reason. In my opinion, it's another one of Stephen Farthing's useless sideshow events. It's a
Right. So
deflection, in my opinion.
you move away from
No,
the
no
cafe.
one else I've ever given the RSO to ever complained about it or had a problem.
Okay, so you move away from the cafe, and then Stephen says that you get involved with dodgy characters that take you to some type of crack den that dodgy people hang
No, no,
about
no.
in.
What happened was I went back up the mountain as quickly as I could. I packed as much as I had to prioritize what was important. I make a living as a photographer, a part-time living as a photographer, a film producer and photographer, and had a company in Sweden doing that. I think you know about that.
Hmm.
So I had to prioritize what I could take and what I had to leave. I
Hmm.
left almost everything, but I have a very expensive professional camera. I had computers, and I had, I think, about 7 hard drives, um, which are very heavy because they're the old style, and everything else that you have in your house, except furniture. So obviously I couldn't take very much. So what I had done was to destroy the hard drives. My hard drives do not have nonce material on them, Jay. What they do actually have is they're backed up in Sweden, multiple areas online and multiple times offline. So they weren't that important for me to gain access to the material. It was vital that that information wasn't accessible to Farthing, because he's very manipulative and he would have been very happy to plug those into the computer that I did have to leave and then get access to everything that I've been doing for the last 20 years. He, in my opinion, had trolled my family 1 year before he abducted me, which is why I think he abducted me, because he planned this meticulously to get into my headspace.
But there's a difference, Nick. I'll just say this here, right? Because listen. I know to forget about the live chat. There's people that will not believe your side. There's people that will believe your side, and vice versa for Stephen.
Sure.
But what I'm going to say is that it was not an abduction. He did not abduct you. You went up there willingly. He didn't abduct you. You could say maybe there's a case for he persuaded you.
It's a very good point.
But he did not abduct you.
I went willingly under false circumstances, and those are the subtle legal terms that I am presenting to the audience to determine whether they think that this could be an abduction or just a robbery and a beating. It's a very subtle legal term, and I don't think that the average viewer would be able to understand, other than to give their own sort of non-legal opinion, which is a value to me. I'd like to know what people
I would
think.
say this. I
don't know myself. I must be honest, I do not know myself.
Nick, you probably have a case with everything else, well, as you say, the violence or whatnot, right?
I have a case with this, but it's debatable if it's true or not.
But what I will say is that if this went to a legitimate court, it wouldn't be put down as an abduction.
No, Roland, this is the problem, is that no one has done their due diligence, so no one has a right to an opinion at the moment. You guys didn't know. You don't know what happened, and the devil is in the detail, and it's absolutely critical to determine what happened.
Yes, no, listen, I get that 100%. But if this went, I understand that. But for instance, if I say to you now, Nick, and I say, listen, if you come up to my house, I have all this here and I'll do this here. If you come up here and then that's under false pretenses, that's not an abduction.
Well, when you're held hostage and then force marched around and have money extracted under false pretenses, I think that starts to mount towards a potential abduction. There were so many different things that I was forced and controlled to do. That's why I think I was held hostage and potentially abducted.
That's where you have a case.
Very serious allegations, I do understand, but there was a very, 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 very serious event.
100%.
And I'm not certain myself. I would like to know myself.
You have a case yourself, Nick. But for instance, if you took this to court right now, right, and they told you to go through every little bit of details in regards to you going up to Stephen Farthing's house, you could turn around and say, I was falsely persuaded to go up there, but under no circumstances would this be seen as an abduction. Maybe held forcefully against your will, and you wanted to leave.
I think that's the same thing. It doesn't matter where the force arrived.
That's even debatable. But what I'm trying to say is that this was not he didn't go down to your house, put you in the back of a van, and take you up to the house and say, and then you go, where am I now? He didn't abduct you.
Roland, he didn't tie me up and bundle me in the back of a van from my house. But that's effectively what he did the minute no one was watching. The minute he had control of me without anybody else around, that is when I claimed the abduction happened. So he had set the whole thing up with an idea to effectively create the circumstances where he could control whatever it was that he wanted. But I believe, because I stood up to him, he realized that there was no way that we could live without him killing me on his property. So that's why he actually allowed me to go. He realized that he would gain 600 euros, everything I possess, and he wouldn't have to suffer me being there.
So I get that 100%, Nick. I totally understand your side of things, but when it just comes to that one point, I don't believe this was an abduction. But
let's get into that point. It's really important, I think, then.
Well,
So
because
sorry. Can you
he didn't
prompt
he
me?
didn't so right, for instance, he wasn't there. You went willingly out of your house and got into a van to go up to his.
Well, it's not
That's
entirely true because the delay with the van was so much that I had said, look, why not forget the van? My landlord has offered to drive me, and that was the first sign that something wasn't going to work out. He started to freak out at that point and started to get angry at me, saying, "Well, we had already done," without including the fact that the time frame had warped massively from the start of a day to the very end of the day. That made it very difficult being in the mountain with lots of gear, moving into a new environment in the middle of the dark. So it wasn't dark when we arrived, but it was getting that way. And I can't remember how that links up with what you asked
so
me. I'm sorry.
just to let you know, Eamon's put a good comment up here. He goes, I remember the Shankill Butchers. That was abductions. Now, this is what people need to realize, right? Yes, your mind has perceived that as an abduction, but an abduction is you have been lifted from an area that you didn't want to go from and took to another area forcefully. That didn't happen in this instance. Now, I'm not saying you don't have a case with, as you say, with the violence and all the other stuff, but I do believe
No, that's an
maybe
interesting point.
what you're dealing with here is that you maybe felt like you were persuaded to go up under false pretenses of what that situation was, and you went up. You weren't happy with it. Other stuff happened, violent stuff happened that you didn't agree with, and in doing that, you've believed that from the start was an abduction, the middle was
No, I
violent,
didn't believe from the start it was an abduction at all.
right?
No, 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 no.
Well, right.
No, no, no,
So just
no. It
yeah.
was days and weeks and months later that I started to wonder: was it an abduction?
Well, then
And
this is
because
the
I'm
thing of the
involved with the barrister.
Nick. People who are abducted know they're abducted straight away.
No, no, I'm sorry, guys, but we don't live in that much of a black and white world always, or at least I certainly don't, or I didn't in this scenario. And I think that Stephen understands the law and is
Yes,
intelligent and criminally minded enough to
yes.
be cleverer than to put a sack over my head, a zip tie my arms behind my back and throw me in the back of a van. That would
Okay,
be
listen.
more
That's
clear.
fine.
This was much
That's
more
fine.
subtle.
That's fine. Listen, that's okay. And do you know what? What I'll say to that one is we
But,
can
but, but
agree to
Eamon
this.
is correct about the abduction, and I think
Yeah,
that it's very, very much easier to prove the beating and the robbery, or the however it might be termed in legal terms, but very much more difficult. And I think if I had a lawyer and we went to court, and I hope that that will be the case, then the lawyer might well be good to advise me to prosecute for the beating and the robbery and not the
yes.
abduction, because that would be harder to prove. But what I would like to do is to see if it can be proven. And the devil is in the detail. And if we don't have the time, the will, or the wish, we will never understand the critical points. Even I won't.
So this is where I agree here, right? And listen. I'm not on anybody's side. Okay, I did speak to Nick before this. I didn't know. I didn't even know Stephen existed. I'm not going to lie to you, Nick. I thought he was. I thought he was an imaginary character until he came on YouTube. But what I do believe
Oh,
is there
really?
was a.
Really?
I
Really?
yeah.
You're serious, Ronan? That's serious.
I
I thought you believed me.
I know. I know. I
Look,
believe.
Roland, didn't I send you the police report?
No, but I didn't. But what I'm trying to say is, I didn't actually know a Stephen Farthing existed until he came on the YouTube, and I was very shocked that this guy came on the YouTube.
But
But
excuse
just
me, Ronan, I had sent you an email,
yeah, Nick.
which was an entire representation of the questions
Yes,
you've just
yes,
asked me. I've explained in a couple of
yes.
pages with
I
GPS
get that.
coordinates.
I
Can we
get
not
that.
produce that? I mean,
No, no.
that's
I
sent
get
to the
that.
police,
I
that's
get
sent
that,
to the
Nick.
barrister. So what's the problem there, Ronan?
No, I get no. Listen, 100%. I get that. I understand. I know that that's all real now. But what I'm trying to say is that
Hmm.
coming to this situation, I do believe that there was a fear put into you, right? But we have to agree to disagree on the abduction part. Now, the part that I want you to finish off
But
here,
I
Nick,
don't think you
is
could disagree because you don't have the evidence ahead in front of you, Ronan. With respect, so I
yes.
know that life
Well, what
doesn't
you've
work like
told
that.
me with the information
Go
that
on,
you've
sorry.
provided, with the information that you've provided to me, it doesn't sound like an abduction. It sounds like manipulation.
Then I respect your opinion.
Okay,
I've certainly
that's all.
manipulated
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
never ever thought of that word, and that might be a more suitable word.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, if that's the case, then I'm not ever going to apologise to Farthing, but I will say perhaps I was not abducted. I was manipulated, beaten, robbed, threatened with my life, held hostage, I believe. So
Yeah.
that would
So
work for me.
so what I'm going to say is explain now the incident with you. I don't know if you explained it before. Forgive me if I've missed this part with you in that crack den, as Stephen says that you were in.
Sorry, what crack then?
He says you went off with somebody and
Oh,
you
no, 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 it
went.
was a toilet
Yeah.
block on the beach, and because
Right.
okay, so when I came down with so we arrived in the van, unpacked, he disappeared, he came back semi-drunk, he thought, no, we had a smoke later than I would have liked, he left the van, I went to sleep. The next day at about 11 o'clock, all hell broke loose, and that evening we went down to town where we separated uh, each other's company, him with my money, to party. And I went up the mountain as quickly as I could so I could get the hell away with my life. And and the computer I'm talking to you on, my tablet, 5 t-shirts, and
Mhm.
not much more. So there in the middle of the night with an absolutely full Halloween moon,
Mhm.
I went down the mountain, which was very easy because of the moon and the track after it was whatever. And instead of going into La Mamola, which is the town where it's the nearest town and where I had just been to the bank, I went in the opposite direction because I did not want to see Stephen Farthing.
Mhm.
I was very heavy gear. I was exhausted, and I heard a voice. And I followed the voice, which led to the Moroccan man who was talking to his girlfriend because that's the only place he can get a signal to talk to her over in Morocco. After he had finished shouting at her, he's a very nice guy, actually. I mean, to me, we talked, and he not only led the way to back to La Mamola because the direction I had chose didn't have any accommodation, no hotels or hostels to rent. So he took me back to La Mamola to try to find me somewhere to stay. And we walked around for quite a long time, and he was incredibly helpful. He offered me to stay at his apartment. That didn't work out for reasons that we didn't discuss. But what he did do was to show me the toilet block on the beach. Now, I didn't sleep at all that night, but Farthing went to party. Farthing has a habit of beating people, anyone that he sees as a threat or that he wishes, on video, thinks somehow that videoing them excuses him and gives him a reason for doing this. You know, they've insulted him somehow, and this is his vengeance, and he thinks it's justifiable.
Nick, would you be happy to take questions now if I brought Stephen on to
Yes, I
have
would.
because I think
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. Good idea.
So
Yes, thank you.
what I want to say is here now is right is that you've had both of you have had your say in regards to the
No,
20th
no, no.
version.
Could I say one very quick
Yes,
thing first, Ronan?
yes, yeah. Go ahead.
Um, the morning after the toilet block where I slept on the floor, Stephen Farthing knocked. He didn't knock on the door. He opened the door, which wouldn't lock, and stood in the doorway as a shadow, as a silhouette, explaining to me that not that he was sorry, but he was upset and that he was crying. I was very interested why he should tell me that. I believe he wanted me to come back onto the mountain. However, I said that I was leaving, and he and I left, and we had that period without bad words at all. I realised I was very isolated again. Plus, also, I was exhausted, and I wasn't actually feeling angry. I was feeling more protective of my safety and my life. He disappeared. The next morning, I went to the cafe over the beach road, which was 50 meters from the toilet block. And as I went into the cafe and sat down, there was two guys sitting on the right and the left of me. The Moroccan was sitting on the one side. There was another local guy sitting on the other side. They both had bruises on their faces. And when we discussed what happened, they both explained that Stephen Farthing that previous night had beaten them up on video. And we talked about his modus operandi. So that's how I feel confident to be able to tell you that it's not just my opinion. Paul Ellis, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So are you finished? So can I
sorry, you remind me again. I've gone dead. What was I talking about?
So no, it doesn't matter. So Stephen's going to come on, right, and he's going to react to what you said, and then questions are going to be asked. One person's going to ask a question, and the other person's going to be muted. Okay. So for now, you're going to be muted, Nick. Okay.
I was just wondering if we might take a couple of seconds and see if we cover bits and pieces. But you're running the show and you're doing a great job. So thank you for having me. And let's do it your way.
The 28 hours has been covered by both of you, right? I think.
No. It hasn't begun to be described,
right?
Ronan, and
but you've had a lot. What I'm trying to say is
you've got a very fair opportunity.
You've had a lot of time to explain it, more time than Stephen had to explain it, and I think it's only fair. So I'm going to bring Stephen back on here. Stephen, you're unmuted. I let Nick have a say. I let you have a say. Is there anything you would like to say in regards to what Nick has said?
Yes, thank you. I'm a dirty bastard. Everybody knows that. Yeah. I've always been called Stinky Steve or Farthing. Okay, so what? I live up in the mountain where there's no water or electricity. I haven't got the facilities or the technology to create the things I haven't got. When Nick came over to the ship pit that I live in, Nick was fully aware that I wasn't going to clean it until he arrived, because I'd been waiting for him to come and visit, to size the place up. Many invitations for him to borrow his neighbor's car and to come over on the bus, like stay over for a day or two. These are all things that had been spoke about before that Nick doesn't, I don't know, maybe doesn't remember or chooses not to remember. So the ship pit that I live in, yeah, it was lived in. Yeah, the blankets, yeah. Like I said, they're my blankets. I masturbate in my blankets. I haven't, I live with fucking 6 dogs, or I was living with 6 dogs. I haven't washed my blankets apart from putting them up on the fucking washing line or hanging them from the trees, because I haven't even got a washing line. I've just got trees, so I just hang them over the fucking railings of the house, or get sunburned. I don't give a shit about that. I haven't got anybody to impress. I haven't got any facilities or finances to clean. Nick was fully aware of that for months and months and months. Nick's been following me the same as I've been following him. I was fucking isolated up the mountain, living a beautiful existence. And he wanted me to care for him. He wanted me to protect him from the ugly world that he's created for himself. When he came to me with all that ugliness that he carries, and that he wouldn't leave behind, that he wouldn't freaking stop talking about, from the moment we collected him, that there was upsets with his neighbor. She was abusing us. She was abusing him. He was abusing her. It was all ugliness. Every time I tried talking to Nick about, there's a village there, we go to the bank, we go to the supermarket, Nick kept silencing me and talking about ugly bullshit. So many times in the van journey, I wanted to just throw him out of the bus, with all these things, that was on the journey here, Wow. By the time, of the next morning of him waking up here, he'd already touched me twice on the shoulders or on the arms or somewhere where, fuck off, man, you're a man. You pissed me off. I don't want you fucking anywhere near me. Your energy's freaking really negative. I don't want you nothing to do with me. Just back off. We're here to pick you up and we just encounter loads of bullshit. What the fuck, man? I live in a beautiful peacefulness, and so does the person that came to collect him. I mean, I don't know. What else can I say?
Right. So what I'm going to do is, you've had a good. Listen, Steve. I'm not going to lie to you. Look, you've said your piece. Now, what I'm going to do is both of you are going to be speaking to each other here now, right? Have you got any questions for Nick?
Why did he threaten me with solicitors, Guardia, and his friends, and then go to YouTube? Why did he? Why has he associated me with the sick, perverse things that he sat there hunting for many years? Why is he associating everybody that upsets him on YouTube? Why is he, why is he a sick puppy? Why is he so sick, and yet everybody else is the sick one?
Okay, then he's going to reply now. Both of these are going to be on now. Both of these aren't going to be muted, so I would respect if both of you could just respectfully go back and forth like two mature adults now. Okay, so Nick, I'm bringing you on now. Okay, right, you've got your reply, Nick. Go ahead.
Jamie Dow seems to think this Nick.
Forget about the chat, Nick. Forget about the chat, Nick.
Is there a look for someone that starts rumors? Ask me a question at a time. I think might be easiest. So please ask me the first question.
He said, Nick. He said, why did you go to the Guardia and why did you do those things on him?
Because crimes were committed. What an insane question. Why would you think I would do those things, Stephen?
Okay, well, for starters, Nick, you just slipped up because Ronan asked you, why did you go to the Guardia? I never asked, why did you go to the Guardia? Why did you threaten me with Guardia, solicitors, your friends, and then when you threaten me on YouTube? Threaten
because
is not...
that's what I'm doing. The police are going to arrest you. They'll find you guilty in court, and you will spend a very long period of time in prison with the crimes that you've committed. I will help, and okay, that's it.
Why
because
are
you're
you
a criminal,
tying me
and
in?
you committed a crime against me.
Why are you tying me up? Why are you tying me up with your Madeline fucking sickness?
We're not going to talk about that at the moment.
No, why are you associating me with
that's
that
because
sickness?
That's because the editor sent me to see you.
Why are you threatening me with?
Sent me to see you, to talk to you, Stephen.
Why are you threatening me?
I'm answering your previous question.
One question at a time. One question at a time, please.
The question that you asked me that we weren't going to talk about, the reason I met you ever was because I was sent to talk to you because you were a suspect in a very, very infamous crime.
Really?
Well, I told you that, and we talked about it.
From who? No, you didn't. From who?
Oh, we absolutely did. John Clark from the Olive Press.
Okay.
And
okay, then get John.
You made multiple references to John Clark.
Yes.
So don't deny it.
Hold on, Stephen. Yes.
Ronan, can you contact John Clark, please? I won't give you any questions to ask John Clark, but can you contact him, please? Can you contact John Clark, please?
I will try to, yes.
Thank you.
Idea,
so we'll move on. Okay, yes. Nick, can you describe Otto?
No. Before we move on, can you please explain about John Clark? What do you know about John Clark, Stephen?
Right. Can you answer a question?
No,
can you describe Otto?
Here's a question on the back of the previous one, yours.
Okay.
What do you know about John? We haven't finished with John Clark. So
okay, I've tried speaking with John Clark and he ignores me.
There we go. You do know him. All right then. So let's move on.
Pardon?
Okay, enough with John Clark. John Clark sent me. You know that. That's fine.
I've tried speaking to John Clark and he ignores me. So how do I know John Clark?
Well, you tell us that he ignores you. I don't believe anything that you say. So that means nothing.
Where does that imply? Did I know him or he knows me? Where does that imply anything?
Because he has communicated with me. He spoke about you. I said that I live 1 kilometer away, which is why he communicated with me. And we ended up that I would go and I would talk to you. I reported back to him after you and I spoke for an hour, telling him that I did not think that you were involved with a serious crime that he was concerned about.
So why do you think I am now then?
because I believe that you abducted me. I believe that there was, and that links to another crime. And more importantly than that, and I'm losing the train of mind, so forgive me and please don't interrupt or help me remember what we talked about. What was the question?
So you think I abducted you?
We are trying to establish that, which is what this
No,
video is about.
no,
So,
no. We're trying to establish. Did I abduct you, Nick? You are telling everybody worldwide that I abducted you. So, Nick,
yes, you're
did I
absolutely
abduct
right,
you?
and I believe it's very possible in legal terms that you abducted me. So yes, I'm going to stick to the allegation that it's very possible that you abducted me, and I don't care if you don't like me defaming you and you want to contest the fact that I'm alleging that you abducted me or claim that that it happened. You go to the
When you
police, please, and
when you
let's figure
cycled
that out.
when you cycled to Orkiva, okay, because you had
When
visited
did I
there
cycle
20
to
years
Orchid?
before, because you'd
Yes,
visited there 20 years before.
35 years ago, 36
Okay,
years ago.
35 years before. Okay, so 35 years before. Let's see how many crimes were associated with Orkiva and beneficial surroundings at that time. Because I think you're a little bit naughty, Nick. I think you're trying to pass the brushes on to other people when you're responsible for the
Please explain.
ugliness.
I'm very interested to hear.
Okay.
Go on.
Who is your landlord, Nick? And what
How
is the
would you like me to
association
answer
of
that?
that
Because I'm not going
person?
to tell you his name.
And what is that person's association with the McCanns, Nick?
Absolutely zero. What do you think it
What
is,
they're not
Stephen?
they're not good
And
friends. They're not family. What they're not family friends of the McCanns. You didn't hunt that family out, Nick, to rent off
Ronan,
them specifically.
would you mute Stephen for a second? This is an important point, and I don't want to be
No,
interrupted.
no, I
He's
listen.
accusing my landlord of being associated somehow with people that we
Well,
weren't
look,
going to talk
well,
about.
look, he's not. He's not. Listen, no names to be mentioned in regards to the Madeleine McCann case.
Please,
But
can I
what I
say
will,
that my landlord is the very nicest person that I know, which is the reason why I live here. And the idea
How did
of
he
what
make his
Stephen
money, Nick?
Farthing
How did he
is
make his
true
money, Nick?
is just another. Say again?
How did he make his money to buy that big complex, Nick, that you live on? That you wanted
He
to rent me an
pulls a
apartment?
fucking
That you wanted
rock
to
out
rent
of
me an
the
apartment?
ground because he's a builder, and I will show Ronan 850 photographs of him building this magnificent environment that we live in. He's a construction engineer and he works, not like you, Stephen,
Right,
stealing
Nick.
and begging and
Nick, what did
starving.
you tell me? What did you tell me? The association of that your landlord and the McCanns. What did you tell me they were? How they were connected? And why did
I
you end up
didn't
going to
I
Orkiva
didn't
to
say
find those
anything.
people?
What are you? What are
I've
you
got your
trying to
text
tell?
messages. I've got text
I'm sorry.
messages and conversations of us that is on big Google clouds. Yeah, because
Listen,
digital video calls
darling.
are always recorded. Okay, so in the
Okay,
background there,
Ronan.
the big satellites that run past, they've been recording technology for many years, right, Nick? So based on the knowledge, Nick, that we have, you've dug yourself a big hole, Nick, because you don't
How?
remember the things that you say. You can't man up to the things that you say, but yet you're going to
Well,
point
be
fingers at
specific.
everybody
Don't be
else.
general. I'm a brain fuck. Yeah, so that's
Okay.
fine. And my
So
memory's bullshit.
when you wanted to rent me the apartment on the complex so I could be your carer and protect you from your crazy neighbors,
We
from
never
all
had
the
that
crackers,
communication. And why don't you send the communication to Ronan like you promised?
right then. If you have a look at my phone, you can see quite clearly that I have sent to Ronan, I have sent to Lucifer, I
Ronan,
have sent to the Huxley files, I have sent to this person and that person and that person. So,
um,
Nick,
then can I have an
I,
opinion? And can we
I,
see some documents? Can we see some evidence? Or do we have
what
to
I will,
listen to a psychotic liar who
right, what I
has
will,
I gave
admitted to being
Lucifer the opportunity to come for a walkthrough, and I'll give him a complete walkthrough because you
well,
upset
why
and
give them a
offended him
walkthrough?
and his
It's my
mother. Because
information,
you
which is
offended him.
Excuse me,
Okay?
excuse me, excuse me.
right,
Ronan, go
they're
on.
both muted. They're both muted. They're both muted, mate. So what I'm going to say is, I've never received any type of things like that, but I will if people want to send me that. Maybe I missed it because I get so many emails and I get so many communications per day, like text message, Instagram, and all that shit. So if Stephen wants to send me that, that's fine. He can, of course. I will just send me it in an email. So what I want to say to you guys, right? Me and the Masked Detective are going to speak here. So, what's your conclusion of this, Masked Detective?
Well, my conclusion, to be honest, I've got nothing against you two, yeah? Got nothing against you two. But you're a bunch of grown-ass men acting worse than children. Seriously, I mean, look, if it happened, Steve would be nicked and banged up. Yeah, why is he not nicked or banged up yet?
Well,
also,
yeah, okay, fair point. Fair point.
Also, Nick, I think you're holding on to, you know, some old baggage. I think you just need to drop it and just move on with your life. It's not helping none of you. But all I'm saying is two grown-ass men acting like babies. And I think, Steve, you need to give Nick's toys back as well, please.
Right, so what I'm going to say is, right, and here's the question. I want Nick to stop being animated and listen to me for a second. If you can hear me, Nick, just listen to this here, right? So what I want to do right now is I want to get Nick to a point wherever he can receive his stuff back from Stephen Farthing's, because I do believe that Nick's stuff is still in Farthing's. So what I'm saying here is there a way possible that Nick can get his stuff back without any altercations or any violence or any punch-ups, where that stuff's sitting in an area where Nick can collect it without having any contact with Farthing? I'm going to put you both back on. No shouting, please.
Thank you.
I'd like to pick up my stuff. Can we organise a time, please?
Yeah. You organised the time some weeks ago when you told me that you and your boys were coming collecting it, and I put it outside waiting for you in a nice, respectful manner, and you never arrived. And then the storms came, and I put it back inside, and yeah, since then I've been slowly bringing it down to the village, getting rid of it. It's been going mouldy.
You taken all that stuff down to all the stuff that we packed into the van and crammed into the van. You lazy ass have actually taken it and disposed of it. Well, that's very interesting timing. The week after Ronan spoke to you about that, you had it, and now all of a sudden I want it. You don't.
Sorry, that's been like 3 months nearly now. I think 2 months at least.
Right. So could we contact a premises or a place in the town where that stuff could be dropped off, and Nick could collect it, or could there be a time and a place where Stephen's not in the house, and that could be sitting out the front for Nick to collect that, so there's no...
I've got a brilliant idea, brilliant compromise, okay? As I was trying to say, Lucifer said he's coming here within a couple of weeks, okay? So when he gets here and I give him the walkthrough, we can drive the things back over to Nick, because he's going to be like on part of the walkthrough.
Okay.
That won't happen in a million years. Not only will Jay not go to your house, but if he did, you would certainly not bring my stuff back. You don't have the money, you don't have the incentive or the interest, and it's completely against the reason why you...
If there's anybody that would like to make a donation, would you like to see this happen?
You are
I do. I want to see this happen.
Right, so what I'm trying to say is I don't even think that needs to happen. I think what needs to happen here is Nick needs to go up. Stephen needs to be away from the house for a certain period of time with Nick's stuff out the front of the house. Nick can collect that stuff, bring that down, so Nick and Steve never meet. That needs to be arranged.
He's thrown this away, Ronan, he says. And now we're on a different podcast. All of a sudden, he still has it.
Right. So
he just continues to play games.
Well, that's up to you then.
I said I had been slowly taking it down to the village because it's been getting moldy.
Yesterday or the day before, you said that you had thrown it all away. You're playing games and head games, and
look, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I have been taking it to the village in small amounts. There isn't much left. There
Where
is the
is it
biggest
in the village then?
in the fucking. I don't know. The rubbish gets collected every day. I
No,
don't
no,
know
no. You
where
said
it
you
goes.
were storing it for me, or are you now storing it, or are you throwing it away? And if you're
Nick,
throwing it away,
Nick,
why would I be going there?
hello, hello. I'd been storing it since October. I've been waiting for you to collect it since
And now
October.
you've thrown
You
it away.
abandoned it. You abandoned it. You gave it all to me. Then you start reporting me for fucking thieving you. I mean, like, I don't know where your head's at, Nick. Really.
Well, I know very well where your
Yeah,
head's
many times,
Where's
many.
where's the where's the resolution here, guys? Where can we get this next stuff back?
Like
And
I
then
said,
I
like
will
I
tell
said.
you where I think the resolution is, if I may.
go ahead.
Yeah. I will send no, I won't send anybody. I will direct with the information I have to the chief German prosecutor involved in this case we're not going to talk about, because the case has been reopened, and the chief prosecutor wants to talk to the chief criminal official suspect who's in German prison, to his friends, associates, and gang members. And John Clark sent me to Stephen Farthing because he told me that Stephen Farthing is associated with the gang. So because of all of that and all the information I have there, I have the German prosecutor's contact details. And I think if Stephen can't do better than this, perhaps in the next couple of days, I will work out and finalize my
Just to let
case.
people know,
And I believe that he will be interested to talk to Mr. Farthing.
just to let people know, people are asking what stuff. The stuff Nick has got stuff left in Stephen's house from whenever they parted ways, and he hasn't received it back. But you know, as Steve says, look, it's not up to him to go down and give it to him. It's up to Nick to go and get it back. So listen, if
Can I
there's
say,
any,
Ronan?
yeah,
Who said that? Who said that?
What Stephen has is everything that the people watching and listening have, and I don't.
What? What?
So
What? What? What
right,
did you need
Stephen,
to hand
just for a
me?
right,
moment, please. I was wearing a blue jacket all winter, freezing cold,
yes,
because I had one set of clothes, about 5 t-shirts, a few socks and underpants, and as far as clothes were concerned, I didn't even have any bedding, and it was winter on a mountainside, and I had no money. So that was not only extremely inconvenient, it was exceedingly uncomfortable. When I had the next money, I bought that blue coat. That was all the winter clothes I had, with that scarf that covers that, yeah, and the hat. And now it's summer, I'm able to wear one of the 5 shirts that I have remaining, while Stephen Farthing was wearing my shirt the other day on Lucifer 74's channel.
No, I wasn't.
Master
No, I
Tech, can
wasn't
you just
wearing
take
your
over there
shirt.
2 seconds and just go to the
Maybe you
toilet,
were,
please?
and you're
No,
lying yet again.
no,
And
no,
Yeah, no
no,
problem.
it's the same
no,
T-shirt that you're wearing in the thumbnail of this video.
no, no. These
All right,
shirts.
that's
Oh
fine.
yes, that one. Yes, 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 yes. That's right. Yes, but that was months ago. That was months ago. Since people were telling me that I was
No,
wearing
no,
your
you
T-shirt,
were
I
on
haven't
Jay's
worn your
Hold
T-shirt.
on,
channel.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh, order. That's it. One at a time, please.
You
Right.
don't
So
need to
let me say
shout.
then, I've
Hey,
been
treat us as
accused
people
again.
if you would, detective.
I've been
Order. Go on,
I've been
Steve.
accused again. I've been accused again. So I'd like to say, please, since I was victimized for wearing Nick's t-shirts, I didn't wear them anymore. I haven't worn anything of his ever since. Back in April, I
You're an
adopted 2
angel.
cats, and the man that I adopted the 2 cats from, his name's Brad, and he gave me shitloads of clothes. Yeah, and that's what I've been wearing since April.
The man you
Oh,
abducted 2 cats from?
Adopted.
Adopted, I'm sorry.
You got abduction on your mind, Nick. You're a sick puppy.
so is that all he wore? Is your T-shirt? I mean, Was there anything else he wore
This
that he
is
took of
part
yours?
of a picture, part of a story. The devil in the detail.
Yeah.
It involves people with an interest to get to the truth, and sometimes that truth isn't as easy as everybody would like. Now, if you don't have the interest in finding the truth, that's fine. I do not blame you, but please don't put yourself in a position where you're looking like you give a damn. Because I don't
Are you
think now
talking?
you
Are
did.
you, excuse me. Are you talking?
Yes,
Are
I'm
you
talking
talking
to
to
you.
me?
I think that something's happened between you
Oh,
and me, and I'm not
well,
sure what it is.
can
I
I
think
just
I
say that?
offended
All
you.
right, let me listen. Yeah, this is called the Ronan. I'm hosting it as well. Yeah, so listen to me. You are acting like a baby. You have abduction on the mind. Yeah,
Explain why I'm a baby.
I think you sit in your house a bit too much. To be honest with you, you need to get out, get some fresh air, bruv. Yeah. Now, obviously, with Stephen, all I can say with him is to just look, get all this, out in, get all this stuff, take it somewhere, tell him where it is, and be
He's
done
throwing
with it,
it
and just carry
away.
on with your life, Steve.
So what happens if he's thrown it away as he just told us that you obviously
Well,
didn't want to
then you
hear?
can't. Then there's no need to arrange anything. Then you get on your way. He gets on his way, innit?
Well, haven't we done a magic job? Well done.
Perfect.
Great. Okay. See you all later, folks.
So is that it? Listen?
No, it's not even the beginning, Ronan. This is absolutely insane and ridiculous.
All right.
Listen,
Dean
that's
Backup
so
wants to join in the group.
Nick
Yes, Ronan.
has said his piece. Stephen has said
No,
his
I
piece.
haven't begun.
Right,
Oh,
DG
David.
DG Backup's coming on. He wants to have a wee say here.
Thank
That's
you.
a great idea.
I don't
DG.
know this man yet.
Go on, bro.
Go ahead, mate. You have your say.
Hey, Steve.
Hello.
I don't believe a fucking word this guy is saying.
Me neither. I don't
Why the
either.
fuck-
I don't trust him. I don't understand what he's saying. He's confused the hell out of me. He's insulting.
Excuse
He's
me?
abusive, and he has
How
been
can you
for
go
a
to
long.
a different country? How can you go to a different country with no money and then say you've been kidnapped?
Right. Well, what I'm going to say is that both these guys have had their say, though. So it doesn't matter if people don't believe one side or the other. It's on here for people to make their own judgment. Nick has had a say in the 28 hours. Stephen has had a say in the 28 hours. And what it is now is it's up to themselves as two grown men to receive the items back that Nick owns, and then that's it, over and done with. They can move on, and they never have to see each other again.
Say the fucking Jeremy Kyle show, innit?
It is a wee bit. It is a wee bit. So, guys,
Well, thank
sort
you for
that
your
out.
empathy, you motherfuckers. You're
Wait,
talking about
listen,
someone who's
Nick,
fucking like
Nick,
you, and you don't
Nick,
give a
Nick,
shit.
one question.
You talk about me being an
Nick,
egotist, and
mute
everyone
him,
thinks I've
Ronan,
got
mute him,
brain
mute him,
damage
mute
and
him, because he
mental
won't
case,
stop.
and
He
I'm
won't
making
stop,
it up.
bruv. So
Fuck
mute him,
you.
mute
Nick,
him.
Nick,
Shut up, you.
Nick, I just wanted to ask one question. Why did you give a load of abuse to Lucifer's mum?
Like you to ask him to send it to you, and then if I did, show the world.
Yeah, he did on his channel.
What did I say?
Go and watch the channel.
Oh, sorry, Stephen.
No, I'm not interested. I'm not invited.
Sorry,
Stephen
Steve, I didn't
Farthing's
mean to
best
do that there,
friends with Jay. I've got no interest in visiting the place. You tell me, you accused me of insulting Marilyn Watts, his mum. So tell me, please, what I said.
Yeah, that's what he said. Look, Marilyn Watts is in the chat, so ask her.
Yes, I know she is. Hello, Marilyn. Please tell me why and what I said. What did I say, and why have you accused me of insulting her? I know that Jay accused me of that, but show me the evidence. You said that it was on his channel. Go and read it. You obviously know the basis of what it said. What did I say?
I'm not your interpreter.
Well, fuck you.
I heard Nick.
You too.
Sorry, I'm not laughing.
You're
Yeah,
a
right, so,
complete fucking
guys,
cunt.
How
guys,
fucking be kidnapped to a fully
Right.
grown man?
Nick, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
right,
Fuck
guys,
yourself.
I'm going to end this
yourself.
here. I'm going to end this here. Both
Big up,
sides have
Ronan.
No,
been
don't.
Thank you, Ron.
No,
Listen
don't.
very much.
No, don't.
Fuck
No,
everybody else,
don't.
you cunt.
big up to
Yeah.
everybody
Ronan.
in the
Yeah,
in the
don't.
panel.
Nick,
Thank you
you
very
mind?
much, Nick.
Ronan, no.
Thanks,
No, Ronan.
Um,
Ronan, please don't quit it yet.
listen, that's it. Both sides have been said. Both have been talked about. That's it. That's it done. We've done an hour and a half there. That's it. That there's not much more. We can't input any more into that. We can't give any more input into that. That's it. Your side has been said, Stephen. Nick's side has been said. It's up to Nick and yourself to do whatever you're going to do now. Just listen. That's it. That's it done. Do you know what I mean? You know, I tried to bring some resolution. It seems like it's just, you know.
Could we ask Nick for a list? Can he name out the things that he wants back? Can Nick give a list of the things he left behind? Can Nick give a list of the things that he gave me? Can Nick, you know, can he remember what he's left behind?
Well, Stephen, whatever you know yourself, whatever Nick has left in that house, you'll know what's his and what's yours. So whatever is his, just pack it up and send him a message some way via somebody else. Even if you contact me and I'll say, look,
Send it by pigeon.
That date, that time, and Nick will be up there to collect it, and that's it.
Honestly, if I have to go looking in the fucking skips in fucking Granada and Malaga and Montreal just to give him his fucking dirty rubbish, wires and fucking stupid hard drives and things, then I have to do it, do I?
No, you don't have no. I'm not telling you to do that.
The moldy clothes, the stale food that he left behind, the moldy fucking saucepans that couldn't be washed. I have to go and dig those things out of the fucking big landfills. I have to do that, do I?
Listen, don't do any of those things. What I am suggesting to do, whatever's in the house of his, just pack it up in the bags, put it out
for a long time, Ronan. Yeah, I've been keeping these things safe for him. Okay?
Yeah.
As soon as he started accusing me of robbing him, those things were boxed up in his fucking suitcases in a much smaller fucking space than he fucking arrived with, because it didn't need all the freaking big airy boxes, cardboard boxes. You know, it could all be thrown back, slammed into a couple of suitcases, quite literally.
Can I just,
you know, and slowly but surely.
Sorry to cut in. I've got to say, because Nick's in the chat saying about an acro, yeah? Look, let me explain something to someone. Is a thief still a thief if he don't get caught? And I'll leave that one with you. Because regardless if you've got an acro and it don't show nothing, it just means you're a clever cunt.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this is what I've been saying. This is what I said the other day. Yes, I'm not going to leave it. I'll continue until the rest of my living days. But like I've said loud and proud, yeah, get the papers of all the places you have lived, of all the statements you have made about people and the statements made about you. Never mind the fucking things that you've been criminalized for, or you haven't been criminalized for. Get the freaking all the times that you've been ratting people out, or all the times that people have been ratting you out. Yeah, that's a little bit more of my fucking ball game. You get me? I couldn't give two shits what I've been convicted of. I'd talk about it all day long.
Yeah, listen, that's what I'm trying to say. But listen, everybody's had their say. I can't give any more input into this because my head's totally rattled with this whole situation.
The amount of times I've been to prison, and I've been sat in freaking cells with people, yeah, and they got nothing to talk about apart from bullshit, horrible freaking things, yeah. You know, I'm sorry, like, yeah, but it just continues a freaking nightmare. That man is sat on his freaking chair for many years doing the same ugliness, yeah, and I tried bringing him to the paradise that I live in. Yeah, after he tried renting me an apartment next to him so I could care and protect for him. Okay, care and protect for him because he recognized the character. When he started screaming and shouting at me, when he started swearing, fucking touching me, when he started like poisoning me, when he done all those, like, wow, man, what are you dealing with? What are you dealing with? How much does one have to receive?
Yeah, listen, that's what I'm saying, Steve. You've come on, you've said your say, and I've listened to it, mate. I've listened to it, and
but Ronan,
you have your points, mate. You have your points.
Ronan, you were talking with Nick Williams for a lot longer before you started advertising me, or you started advertising him.
Can I be honest with that? I didn't think you were real.
Exactly. A fucking name they broadcasted. He gave you freaking everything against me, and you didn't even type it into Google. Fucking
even.
hell, man! What's going on with the world? You lot so fucking thick, stupid, or what?
I'm gonna be honest with you. It was pointless for me to even research because I have so much going on. I'm not gonna just research a random guy that somebody's.
Then how can you encourage such a sick puppy? You know, have a look about like a lot of people that I've been in communications with YouTube because he forced me onto YouTube. He brought me into YouTube. Yeah. And now he's saying that I'm fucking all over the place and he's so intimidated. No, 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 no. Have a look at all the people that make bad comments about him.
But if
You know?
but what my pushback to that is, Steve, if he's defamed you so much, why have you not took a legal action with that?
Look, man, yeah. Look at my life. Yeah. Can I afford to take somebody to court? You fucking moron.
Well,
What the?
no, mate, no, it's not at all because you've just said there that he's been doing this to you for a long time now, Steve. So in my same
Not
way,
just me. Not just me. A lot of people's even bullying.
hold on. But at the same time, coming on here and sitting saying to me, calling me a moron, doing this here, that I should have researched you. No disrespect to anybody, but if somebody sends me a random email to do with somebody, I couldn't give two fucks who they are. That's just the God's honest truth, and I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Ronan,
Look,
you can soft pie it as much as you like, okay? But you brought Nick onto your show. Immediately, you went over to his show. Before you went over to his show, you were broadcasting me and my name, okay? So now, please. So please.
Now, please what? Now, please what?
Exactly. Now, exactly, yeah? You encouraged him from day one to broadcast.
Hold on 2 seconds here, right? This is where both these guys are absolute fucking glue bags, right? Because I didn't encourage nobody, right?
Pardon?
Nick wants
I
to come
smoke
on.
weed. I'm not a glue bag. I smoke weed. Yeah,
No, listen,
I'm not horse bones. I'm not being melted down to be glue.
Steve,
No, hold on.
Steve, let him speak.
No, hold on. Everybody shut the fuck up here. I didn't encourage anybody to come on. I let a man have his say and I listened to him in the background and I've let you have your say. Right? So don't take the moral high ground as if you know everything. Hold on, mate. A situation's happened between you and Nick, right? That I don't know what the fuck's going on. It seems like a lover's tiff to me, right? It's the end of the show. It's the end of the show. Both of you grow the fuck up. And you haven't matured by 15 years of age, and that's the end of it.
So you sat in your bedroom.